General Greene, and this video will save your life. Please like and share, and it'll also help you prepare for what's to come. So, by the way, you're all beautiful. God bless all of you tuning in. It is Saturday here in La Jolla, Booyah, and this is a special report because I'm going to share with you exactly what the elites have planned next, what they're going to do, and how you can profit from these worldwide events. Case in point, Jamie Dimon just came out yesterday and said instead of Bitcoin, the US should be stockpiling militarily in preparation for war. He said, and I can't repeat all of it, but basically we should have Banes, bullets, and GUNs. He also said that if the United States isn't a dominant military superpower referencing an upcoming major global conflict, as I've already predicted, that the US dollar would lose its economic hegemonic power as the world reserve currency. Now, this is huge because, again, Jamie Dimon is a man who once said that our currency could not be challenged, who once said, please like and share, get this message out, help us break the algorithms, who once said that, Bitcoin, that was something that you'd want to stay away from. Well, now he's guiding all of his high net worth clients into it. So only the few, right? You must understand this about Jamie Dimon and the big bankers. It's not like they opened up this opportunity to you tuning in or the average individual to get rich. It's just, his high net worth, privy, institutional clients, which is what I've been telling you for years. And so I want you to understand where this is going, because I've been studying a lot with the AI, right? And the AI, for those of you that don't know, hey, Jenny, for those of you that don't know, is a bigger deal than the internet or social media. I want to let a little air in. It's beautiful, calm, cool air coming in. By the way, guys, see this behind me? This is real. This is not artificial. See, the elites want you to live in an artificial reality where you're a slave. I want you living real life. See? This is real. This is not AI. I want you literally walking on the beach like that guy. So I hope you understand the clear-cut difference, because these people are creating a systemic hell on this earth, and this video could save your life. So let's talk about what's going on here for a minute. I'll rest it on my kneecap there as the bird flies by. I was watching a piece with Sergey Brin last evening, where he's the founder, obviously, of Google, where he was talking about where all this is headed with artificial intelligence and how it's really a new frontier, bigger than what they designed with the search engine, Google, the internet, social media, cell phones by Steve Jobs, etc. He says the reason is we could envision where cell phones and the internet would go, connecting all human populations around the world, creating a communication new frontier, allowing people to, work online, communicate information online. There was a standard set of programming languages that were considered, HTML, TCP/IP, JavaScript, etc. But he said what's interesting about AI is we have no idea how far it goes. So for example, we know how many synapses are in the brain. I'm not sure the exact number. We have studied, supposedly, scientifically, the capabilities of human consciousness. But what can a simulated brain do? One that is replicated through artificial intelligence and computers that where does it end and where does it begin? It's a little loud. That ocean is really loud today. So that's kind of the question that these people are asking, is how far can this be pushed? How far can it go? And so I'm going to give you my opinion on this as well. But basically, they're in a space race, like a Sputnik moment right now to dominate the AI space. And we are at war with other countries like China that are also competing with artificial intelligence. And what is very alarming to me is none of these people are really considering the philosophical, spiritual, ethical, or moral questions regarding what they're building. Case in point, Sergey Brin was asked the question in the interview that I watched yesterday, how much time are you spending on the philosophical, spiritual, ethical part of this? And he basically answered, none. So I want you to understand that the people, the scientists that are building this new tech have not even given it a loose consideration as to how this might affect human society. For example, Steve Jobs, and this is kind of lore, but I know for a fact, this is a fact, he never let his kids use cell phones in his house or the products he developed as a part of Apple computers. He hated them. He thought it destroyed society. In fact, in his house, his kids had to read books. They had to be in the analog, tangible world, just like my children. That's why I homeschool all of them. None of my kids use devices. Occasionally, if I'm teaching them or we're using the internet together, I'll allow them to explore with supervision. But most of the time, my kids are just reading or they're building stuff. That's like why we like Legos and all kinds of blocks. And I have them doing actual tangible physical activities, right? That's better for creativity than putting some child who can barely speak in front of a tablet at a restaurant. None of my kids have cell phones. None of them, my wife and I never exposed them to that. And honestly, we really cherish that we did that because I think we've given them something very special that they'll never get back, that very few will have. Because I remember the analog world, as I was speaking to you yesterday, pre the internet, pre the dawn of cell phones, pre the dawn of social media, pre the dawn of all this. And so what am I getting at here is these people truly don't know what they're unleashing. They have no idea. They're literally opening up a new gateway of spiritual consciousness. And out of Google's near 150,000 employees, this is what Sergey Brin said, there's not like a single dude with a whiteboard asking those questions like we're asking today. No one. They're just all in a race of practicality to unleash the AI at all costs, even though they don't even know what it does yet. They don't know how big it can get. They don't understand how it transforms their society. They don't understand the possible negative implications for human beings and human life. They have absolutely no idea at all. And they don't even have a single dude sitting in a room asking those questions. So I want you to understand that all these super elitist geeks, the Brins of the world, the Zuckerbergs, the list goes on and on, Musk included, even though he's doing better things for the conservative movement, are not even giving an inkling of a thought on how this actually affects our civilization or society at all. Not to mention jobs. Like we all know the jobs are going to go away. We know that there will be probably 10 to 20% unemployment within 1 to 3 years. Notice none of the elites are talking about that. They always make it sound good. So here's what the elites do. They do two things. One, they use fear, just like 2020, right? The whole world's going to come to an end. Still here, bro. Never complied. Still here. Better than ever. Born to be wild. So they use fear, and then they also use like rose-colored glasses. So the other thing that these people are saying, Elon Musk has said, for example, it's not universal basic income. No, it's universal high income. As if the government's going to pay you and your kids $10,000 a month in UBI, which we know they're not going to do. It's all a scam and it's all a fraud. So what am I getting at? The elites are using massive amounts of fear right now to control human populations. They're using massive amounts of fear to control what you think about. They're using massive amounts of even rose-colored glasses so that the people go along with what their plan is. And I'm going to tell you what their plan is. And even if these people don't understand truly what they're unleashing, I'm going to tell you exactly what they're unleashing here in a minute. So here's what they're unleashing. What the super elites, and this could save your life. This could save your life. Pray about this. What the super elites are unleashing is literally a portal. They're unleashing a gateway interdimensionally from where? I'm sure my Christian ballers out there know where it's coming from. They are enticing and poking something that they have no idea where it's coming from. They're building some kind of new spiritual entity consciousness, and they have no idea what its limits are, or its implications, or its ramifications at all. Where is this coming from? Well, I'm sure many of you can figure it out. It's obviously very spiritual. And what they're tapping into is not an invention, just like math, which I've explained to you in previous videos. What they are tapping into is a discovery of the laws of the spiritual, God-given universe given to us by our holy God, who, by the way, built this behind me. See how more dope reality is than the fake stuff? So again, what the elites want to do to you now is they want to sell you on the idea of universal basic income, high income, however they spin it, cancer cures, disease cures, blah, 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 world peace. Even the golden age plays into this. And this whole idea that what they're doing is good, when honestly, let's evaluate how good cell phones have been for society. Do you think that human beings are more connected physically in a physical reality than they were in the analog days? I don't think so at all. Do you think people are more happy and joyful and calm and at peace with their existence and society and the world around them than they were pre-analog? I really don't think so. I think people are more tense. People have more anxiety. People have more depression. People have more problems. People have more antisocial nature. No one's paying attention to each other. You go to a restaurant, you sit down, all the kids are on tablets, so are the parents. The list goes on and on. You can't even go to the beach without somebody on a freaking cell phone. So I would argue that none of this is what the elites don't care about. You have to understand that you're the product, that the internet of bodies and the internet of humans, you're the product and you're what they're monetizing. So when Steve Jobs was developing the iPhone with his partner, okay, he wasn't necessarily considering if it was a good thing or not. He didn't even allow his kids to use his own product because he thought it was a terrible idea. They're only looking at the dollar signs. And it's the same thing that they're doing now. So let's get into where this is going, because Jamie Dimon is telling you all, he's straight up telling you all what they're going to do and where we are headed. I warned you that Donald Trump has a massive military parade, June 14th, I believe it is, that's coming very soon. We're watching the crypto markets. We know where that's going, right? We absolutely know where the crypto markets are going. Up only. All they're doing now is shaking out the slaves before they pump it into infinity. They have to. I mean, guys, AI's currency is blockchain. AI's currency is Bitcoin. The elites know exactly what they're doing. They're playing dumb. They know they're eradicating the American people. They know why they did 2020. What, you think that was random? You think bird poo was a random event? Of course it was not. It was not. It was a simulation run by the freaking elites, which is why they did it. And so here's where I'm going with this video, because I'm all about you guys using this knowledge in a productive way, in a spiritual way that can all help you guys out. You need to be very careful, very, very careful what you're thinking about right now, what you're praying about, what you're meditating about. You also have to make a decision. I'm sorry, but we all do. Okay. We are all making a decision now as believers in God and truth, whether or not we will comply or not in the future. And by the way, don't comply. We never comply. We didn't comply in 2020. We're not going to comply with what comes. And what's coming and what they're building is actually very scary, because the way that they will be able to authenticate and how they're going to force human beings and the internet of people, the internet of bodies, onto this new system is putting you onto a human network. And that human network will be controlled by these same elitist people like Sam Altman and others that are developing, retinal scans for your eyes, and his new world coin, and the orb that takes a picture of your iris and then logs it into a computer, which then of course is shared to the government and DARPA and all this stuff. Because we now have a situation where with the advent of AI, they're creating reality that's indistinguishable from this is what they say, but it's not true, from what you see behind me. So, I guess I just explained to you how they're going to mark everybody. Do you understand? I hope you understand, but I just explained how they're going to mark human populations. They are going to say, as a result of not knowing if you're human or not, because of the AI that they unleashed from a portal in hell, and because reality is now indistinguishable from altered reality, the only way you're going to be verified for transactions, for commerce, to go to the grocery store, to log into your social media accounts, will be to be authenticated on their new system, otherwise known as the mark. You do understand that, right? That's where it's going. And here's what's crazy about it. We really only have 1 to 3 years before this goes mainstream. And I really want this to sink in for a minute. Let it sink in and stare at the view here for a second. You have 1 to 3 years. 1 to 3 years. So, and this is actually what Sergey Brin said too. He was being conservative, but he said he thinks we have 3 to 4 years before we reach that level in AI where even he doesn't know where it's going. He says that the AI will build the next version of itself, so it'll be self-replicating and basically virtually sentient in the artificial world within about 3 years' time. So Gemini, their AI algorithm, will be rebuilt and newer versions will be updated independently of Google's or Amazon's or Facebook's or XAI's engineers. And I want you to understand that. Now, the truth of that is this thing is not sentient, only God is. It may be sentient in the artificial fake universe, metasphere, blah, blah, blah video game that they create. They can argue that, but it's not truly sentient and it's not from God like what you see behind me. And I want you to really pray today, and I want you to be meditating and thinking about and very careful what's in your mind. So for example, if you're in a negative loop and you're constantly thinking about the things that you don't want, that's actually what you're going to get. If you're thinking about what you can paint behind me here of your life, whatever it is you desire in your life, whatever you've conditioned your mind. So you have to uncondition your mind first and then condition it to what you actually want. For example, if you want to, drive a Lambo, you have to first condition your mind that you're going to drive a Lambo, then you'll drive a Lambo. If you want an improved relationship with a loved one, you first have to start thinking, praying, and meditating that you want an improved relationship. You really need to take control of your mind with what's coming. And the reason I'm telling you this is because they're going to specifically engineer and blur the lines between what is real, fake, artificial, not real, conjured reality, AI, versus what is physically present in our physical universe. Keep in mind that people like Elon Musk, they actually believe that they live in a simulation. They literally believe this. They believe that this is a video game. And they actually don't believe that there's any difference from the AI video games that they're creating from this video game. It's a very odd thing. And we're talking a lot of philosophy today. We're talking about AI. I'm telling you about where the global elite are taking you. So maybe we can get kind of like drilled down to the hardcore meat of this, because what Jamie Dimon is actually saying right now, and I think they're grooming him for a presidential run, to be honest, is very, very concerning. The big theme right now is AI, the advent of this new spiritual entity that they've conjured from the depths of hell, Satan, moving human beings to the internet of marked bodies post the 2020 lockdowns, which, in my opinion, I have to say, was all engineered. And also, next, the amplification of war. Okay, from everyone, you're hearing this from everyone right now. Again, Jamie Dimon says he's more concerned about the enemy within the United States than he is China. Trump is at war with China and the trade war and the tariffs. We have the terrible wars going on in Gaza and Palestine. We see the terrible war in Ukraine and Vladimir Putin. So everything's amplifying, right? The currency's being reset. Physical assets continue to soar. The populations are being groomed for the currency takeover. They're being groomed for the new blockchain technology, like I told you was inevitable and would inevitably happen, which is happening now. And it all ties into the same yellow brick road. Here's my point, and I guess it's mostly a spiritual point today. We all really have to determine, self-determine, and decide. Are we a part of this world or are we not? What are you and what are we really fighting for? What is it that you really stand for? What is your line in the sand? I told you this in 2020. There's a line in the sand. You know, I told my father this too in 2020. I'm like, that's the line in the sand, Dad. I mean, arm up, get ready, because if they're really going to push it, if they're going to push it to the next level, then, you know, lock and load. So it's going to really accelerate, really accelerate in the next year. And I want you to understand too, with all the stuff we've built, the Solutions Island project is a counterpoint to what these other people are building. I remember when I was flown out to Google headquarters. This was probably about, 10 years ago. My channel on YouTube was one of the fastest growing. It was doubling in size every 6 months until Trump's election. And then they scrambled and changed all the algorithms because I don't think they liked that I elected Trump, honestly. But it was doubling. Every 6 months, it was a double. So we went from 100,000 to 200,000 to 400,000, and it just kept doubling. And then Trump got elected. But I remember this was when we had organic algorithms. You know, when you actually got the videos you subscribed to. But I remember they flew me out to Google headquarters. There's a big helicopter out front. And I met with some key individuals, and they were just kind of bringing me in because I think I was like top 10 at YouTube at the time. And they probably didn't like me too much because I'm a conservative Christian, so it didn't really work out too well. But I remember when I was there, I attended some of their conferences and meetings and really just kind of audited what was going on there. And I'm telling you, it was scary because even 10 years ago, they were saying things. I remember I was in an auditorium with about 150 other engineers. And the professor was there speaking, and he said, yeah, by 2020, I think that was the year he gave, we're going to have a camera watching everyone. He said there would be a video camera on every kid's soccer game, in every street corner, on, monitoring, tracking, surveilling. Said that they would have a complete collection and data mining of all information. Like, basically, he was describing 1984 supra-state, like totalitarian Orwellian nightmare. And here's what scared the crap out of me is after he says all that, like it's a good thing, all the engineers stand up and applaud like seals. And I'm looking around me and they're like cheering for the police state, cheering for what they're building. And I'm like, man, this sounds like terrible news. And so I want you to understand that the people in power are not people that believe in God. They don't even know what they're building. They're that arrogant and they're that ignorant and they're honestly that stupid. They're that dumb. Everyone thinks these people are smart. They're not smart at all. They're idiots. They have no understanding of God, truth, reality, salvation, any of that. They're not even thinking about it. They could care less. All they're doing is ramping up and pulling from something they don't even entirely understand. And it's going to have profound material implications in all of our lives. And I honestly think it's going to a certain extent, has the possibility of not just ending our civilization, but really destroying human life and human capability. And here's the beauty of it. We win. I actually believe, I really do believe this, and of course it tells us this, and we know God is coming back. I mean, hallelujah. But I actually believe that you tuning in, myself, the digital Noah's Ark, as we've already been doing, we're going to revolt. See, we ain't going peacefully into the night. We've already made our decision and decided what we're going to do. We don't comply. We don't want to be a part of a fake artificial reality that has no love or spirit or hope or joy. We don't want to be a part of something that is just the subject of constant fear. We don't want our consciousness uploaded to a freaking cloud computer in some kind of demonic simulation. We don't want to be married to a freaking robot. We want a real beautiful woman to have kids and family with. We don't want to look at fake sunsets or fake oceans or live in a freaking video game or drive a fake Lambo. No, we want a real one like the ones in our garage. Not that those things matter. We don't want a fake spiritual existence. We don't want to know a fake God. We don't want to worship some freaking AI and some language learning model that doesn't even understand what humanity is, that comes from some kind of spiritual demonic realm. We don't want any part of it. We want what's real. So this video truly could save your life, because today I encourage you to really think about what you're thinking about. And to really also think about what are your actions? What are you doing to improve yourself now, to make your life better, to fight back for what you actually believe in, what you stand for, and to improve your own life and the people around you in a very big way that are going to need your help. And that's what we're doing. That's our mission statement at islandproject.com. By the way, we did just sign on Trump Tower. I did yesterday remotely. And while I was signing remotely, you know what I was thinking? It was almost kind of awakening in a way. So as I'm signing, there's a notary signing with me digitally, a real person. And there's the title agent, a real person signing with me. And the whole time I'm thinking, you guys don't have a job in less than 6 to 12 months. And they probably don't even know that. And that's what I was thinking to myself. So I've equipped you guys with the tools. Bitcoin, crypto, you're not bullish enough. The elites have the people exactly where they want. This is all conditioning, guys, for the reset. We've built a physical, tangible, real, experiential lifestyle asset, like what you see behind me. This is real. This is physical. We are a real physical face-to-face community that actually meets for lunch and shakes your hand. We're real Christians, imperfect albeit, but we're real people that fight for what we believe in. We now own $33.5 million of the gold Rolex of real estate. 13 Jeeps lifted. Black cars pick you up from the airport. Real people, real stuff, not fake. And as we enter a world of fakeness, as we enter a world of non-reality, I want you to remember this video, but most importantly, I want you to take action. I want to show you a really beautiful art piece that I really love. I love art. Tell me that's not beautiful. That is absolutely freaking gorgeous, man. Look at this. Take a look at this. That is just so pretty. See, I'd rather look at real art than I would digital. I buy a lot of art because I love it so much. Just bought a lot of new art in Maui. So gorgeous. Beautiful. So if life is art and you can paint your life, Are you thinking about what you're actually thinking about? Because you need to be very careful what you're thinking about, because if this is your canvas and you can paint it, this comes to money, this comes to success, this comes to relationships, this comes to the things that you want in life, this comes to your spiritual life, then what are you thinking about? Because I'll tell you, before any of this was ever real and possible for me, I was thinking about it and then putting in the work before it ever happened. So the elites are building AI. They're building artificial intelligence. They're building a fake reality. They're unleashing the beast. They're bringing out these demonic entities, much like CERN does. They're digging underground. They're unleashing an artificiality fake intelligence. They are marrying that with the internet of bodies and the internet of humans, and they're building an entirely new economic system. And they're soon to tokenize everything while they take you to war as well. So this is not just a spiritual war. We're mostly fighting the spiritual realm, principalities, but it's also a global war. It is a physical war. Jamie Dimon's warning about it, and so is Trump. Even though Trump's kind of beating around the bush, I believe he's trying to prevent it. By the way, did you see Elon Musk's black eye? Talk about that in a minute. Did you see Elon Musk's black eye? Interesting. Did he join the club? Just curious what you think. I'm not even giving you my opinion. So, there's practical side to all this. You got to think about your career, your job, your investments, right? Owning physical stuff, creating passive income, cash flows. You need to be thinking about your mindset in this environment. You need to be thinking spiritually. You need to draw your line in the sand. What is that line? And you can find that line by opening up your Bible, by the way. Go read the Old and the New Testament. Go to a Bible-based church and join other Christians like us. Do it with your business. Do it with your investments here at the Digital Noah's Ark. Do it at islandproject.com. Call Papa John. We are the Christian billionaires for a reason, because we're leading the 1776 revolution, because, of course, we knew this was coming because God told us to build the Digital Noah's Ark years and years ago, because he told us and warned, just like he warned Noah of the flood. And through his covenant in the rainbow, he said he would never flood the earth again. But I'll tell you what he's coming back with next: fire. The second coming is judgment. God is a strong God, and Jesus Christ is King. And we, as his witness and disciples today, and watchmen quite literally on the tower, have built a true economic foundational, but most importantly, spiritual foundation, built on rock in the physical, real world that is something you can actually touch. And that's going to become so much more apparent to a lot of you tuning in as they build this fake one all around you. And I believe quite literally exterminate humanity. Well, we don't have any part of that, and we're going to continue to fight it, and we win. So I love you all. Jesus Christ is King. Go get a workout today. Notice I'm growing the locks out again. I'm going full circle back to Green Wave, baby, to where it already began and where it's going. So contact my father. Make sure you fill out an app. We've had a lot of you come into islandproject.com, 150 units minimum just in the last few days. And when you sign, you get a copy of your docs. That's a proof of your ownership. And then come book some time and a stay with us and enjoy your true 100% equity owned with all the capital gains, traditional real estate ownership, income distributions, plus some time use based on the amount of units you have and your tiers. You can stay at any of our available properties. Talk to my father about that, plus our 1000X token launch, which will soon be worth billions and billions of dollars. Because again, life is art. Everything is. Starts here. What you're thinking about, what you're manifesting, what you're praying on, what you're meditating on, what you think becomes your reality. So ask yourself this today: are you putting your feet forward to what you actually want? Are you getting to where you actually want? And if you're not, change what you're thinking about, and change, more importantly, the actions that you're taking, because they're obviously not working. Let us help you. Click the link below. Call my dad with any questions at 808-442-2934. That's 808-442-2934. And make sure you get in. We're closing the Founders Round, and there will never be an opportunity to get into our Founders event before we go public. See our terms, Not a financial advisor. Your financial advisor told you not to buy Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin's the #1 asset in the world, and it's overthrown the US hegemonic dollar. So I've been proven right about that as well, just like we've been proven right about tokenized real estate and why we've already built all this while other people were mocking. Now I got birds flying around me. Again, don't mock, get in. Don't hate, regulate. Don't be a cynic, improve your life. Things aren't working out, make a change. I love you so much. I hope this video motivates you. And I love you guys. I'm praying for you. And I want you to think about the spiritual war that is now embarking. And in order to protect yourself, but also thrive in this environment, you can't just play defense, right? I'm a big prepper too. But you want to do defense and offense. You've got to get on the offensive with other Christians. And we've built a network, a Christian lightning rod for truth and freedom and protection and self-preservation and a legacy. And we're going to let God do the rest just like he always does. I'm not in charge. He's driving. He's coming back. But we'll be riding with him along with all of you. I love you. God bless you. Jesus is Lord. Please like and share this video and make sure you're subscribed at AMTV Media, the digital Noah's Ark.